radio show dedicated to the red meat issues that affect your life, from gun control to freedom of speech. Now, debating, debunking, and discussing today's hot issues. Here are your hosts, David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz.
And welcome down Target Radio. And this evening we have in the studio David Shestokas, who is an author, attorney, and former Cook County prosecutor and an old friend. He's been in before. Welcome back.
I'm happy to be back with you tonight, Dave, although I'm missing Gretchen.
Gretchen is, I know. She comes and goes when she has time.
Yeah.
Gretchen has a job now where she has to actually get up early in the morning. So, yeah.
Okay. We'll give her our best.
And I will do that. She's listening, I'm sure. And David brought with him today Reverend Steve Lee, former law enforcement, pastor here in Chicago of a suburban church, and recently indicted along with President Trump and 17 others. Welcome,
Thank
Pastor.
you. Thank you.
I hate to see you here under these conditions, but I think it's a story that needs to be told.
Well, we appreciate your hospitality.
So, I mean, this all comes as a shock to you.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we were really shocked.
What is really going? I don't really think I wrap my brain around what's going on in Georgia. This seems to me like bad fish. It seems to me like a Democratic play here.
You know, and regarding the politics of it is one thing, but I think what people need to know is some technical stuff off the top. Among them is Pastor Steve and President Trump and 17 others have been indicted according to what they call the RICO Act in the state of Georgia. RICO stands for Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations. There's an allegation that there was an ongoing criminal enterprise to which each one of the people that were indicted contributed for the purpose of overturning the 2020 presidential election.
Now, wasn't RICO originally put together because of the mob?
RICO was originally put together to do things like you said, organized crime, mob, street gangs, folks where there's kind of like an ongoing criminal action that actually, kills people and steals money.
Sure. So this is not trivial.
No, this is not trivial. When we get into some of the things that maybe perhaps Steve and others are accused of, it may sound trivial, but the potential consequences for Steve and any of the other defendants are very serious. The mandatory minimum sentence in Georgia for a conviction on a RICO charge is 5 years in prison. There's no probation, no community service, no doing any kind of things to help out. No, it's 5 years mandatory minimum in prison, up to 20 years. So it's serious business.
Well, basically, you didn't see this coming. I mean,
we not only didn't see it coming, we were incredibly astounded. Last year, this investigation has been going on for 2.5 years, ever since essentially the November 3rd, 2020 election, and there was a special grand jury going on in Georgia. They had sent a subpoena out to get Steve, or to ask for Steve's testimony. And people should understand that the authority of a state to compel somebody's testimony ends at the borders of the state, unless you get the cooperation of the state where the witness lives.
Yeah,
exactly. And so they sent a subpoena to Kendall County, looking for Steve's testimony. And to get it, they have to prove certain things to the judge in Illinois. And through a series of hearings, ultimately, the judge in Kendall County issued a specific ruling that said there was not enough evidence for Pastor Steve, to have been considered a material witness in the case in Georgia. And then he said, although there's not enough evidence, we will give them 30 days if they want to provide more evidence to see to it whether or not it's justified to compel him to go to Georgia to testify. The 30 days came and went. They never provided any more evidence, and the evidence they provided did not satisfy the Illinois judge that he was even a witness. So the time goes by, and we never heard from them again. I'm, of course, counsel of record in the case already for Pastor Lee, and I never heard from him. He never heard from him. To the best of my knowledge, no authority in Kendall County heard from him. And then one day last week, we woke up. Apparently, Fannie Willis, the district attorney, had a press conference about 10 o'clock at night and announced the indictments. And I woke up the next day, my phone was blowing up. Media, people from all over the country, et cetera, et cetera. And I went, holy cow. This judge said he wasn't even. They didn't even have enough for him to be a witness, and now he's a defendant.
Sure.
And they never tried to. Your law enforcement sees law enforcement. I use a prosecutor. What are you trying to do? You try and at least interview the guy that you're going to charge.
Sure.
At least you tried it.
Sure. Yeah, Pastor, just to look at it from your perspective, you go to bed one night, everything's fine. You wake up the next morning to a phone call. Are you not looking at, I'm going to go to jail?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's an unbelievable kind of out-of-body experience to wake up and read in black and white that I'm indicted on a felony this serious, several counts, including RICO, and especially with my background in law enforcement, both local and federal, and having a very, very clean record and a record of wanting to just simply help people. And to see that, it's just unbelievable. It's very shocking. Now, I'm a pastor, I'm a Christian, I'm a believer, and I believe firmly that God is in control. God is on his throne. That's what I always say. And we do not rely on circumstances in the faith. Ultimately, we rely on the Lord, and he gets us through whatever shadowed valley, to paraphrase Psalm 23, we have to walk through. And we have a good shepherd with us. So I have confidence in the Lord. I don't have confidence in a lot of stuff here on this planet, but I have confidence in the Lord. And whatever circumstance awaits, the Lord will see me through. But it is a shock.
So you have a group total, including President Trump, of 19 people.
There's total 19 defendants.
Is that going to be a trial?
That's the stated intention of the prosecutor in Fulton County. She says she wants to try everybody all at once. Now, there are, in fact, 2 people that have filed already for what they call Speedy Trial Act and speedy trial rights that accrue to a defendant. And that trial has already been set for October 23rd. But frankly, between the other 17 folks, nobody else at that moment has made a demand. Actually, myself and our local counsel in Georgia are conferring whether or not we're going to make such a demand on behalf of Pastor Lee. But it's going to be almost impossible to do this in that shorter time frame. And it would be a major, major circus to have, 19 defendants, in which case you're going to have at least 38 lawyers. You got at least 57 people. I don't know if there's enough chairs in Fulton County to do all that all at one time. And so I'm very, very skeptical. There's been other things. Mark Meadows, the former chief of staff of President Trump, is among the folks indicted. Mr. Meadows has filed a motion in federal court to remove this case from Fulton County to federal court over there in Atlanta, and he's got a good argument to do so, because there's in fact a federal law that says if you're accused of a crime and it's related to the duties that you were conducting as a federal officer or a federal official, you can have that case tried in federal court. And so there is some possibility that they might move all of them to federal court. We don't particularly have control over that particular matter. And so it's crazy, Dave.
It seems to me, I mean, we talked about this before earlier. If you commit an act in a state that disrupts a federal election, because everybody always talks about the elections are within a state, but if it's a federal election, nonsense done in the state of Illinois, for instance, has an effect on the entire country. Right. Does that not in and of itself make it a federal?
I would suggest to you that it does, that there's federal elections involved, and it's strange. When they're outlining what makes the criminal enterprise, they have gone through, she's found 161 what they call overt acts in furtherance of this conspiracy. And among those 161 acts are lobbying legislators in Pennsylvania and Michigan and Arizona are listed among those things. And so, yeah, I have no idea